Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Thanks a lot for coming along in this video today. In this video today, I'm in the hangar in Smyrna, Tennessee. Just finished detailing this Generation 2 Vision Jet here and the Generation 2 Plus Vision Jet behind me. But this video is not about that. This video is actually about Brian and I conducting 25 hours of supervised operating experience in the Vision Jet. This flight's going to show you the last flight of the day as we left Syracuse, New York on our way to Elliott Field in Georgia. That's where Brian's aircraft's going to be based. And this flight, we talk about all things related to Brian's preparation, as well as the supervised operating experience and other topics along the way. Thanks a lot for coming along in the video. I hope you enjoy it.
Good morning, departure Vision Jet 379, Juliet Mike 1.5 for 3,000 and the turn to 090.
379 Juliet Mike, turn right heading 140.
Right turn 140, 9 Juliet Mike.
379 Juliet Mike, turn right heading 180.
Right turn 180, 9 Juliet Mike. Clear for takeoff, runway 19, 379 Juliet Mike. Hey there, everybody, hope you're doing well. Thanks a lot for coming along in this video today. I'm flying on Brian's last day of supervised operating experience. We've knocked out just about 23 and a half hours or so of flight time up to this point in this beautiful Generation 2 Plus Vision Jet. This is Brian's jet. He recently completed his type rating at Cirrus Aircraft in Knoxville, Tennessee, and now we're heavily involved in his supervised operating experience. So today, in this flight here, is his last flight of the SOE, and we're landing at Elliott Field in Georgia, and that's going to be where this aircraft's going to be based, and I'll let you know a little bit more about Brian. But right now, we've been underway for about 25 minutes or so. Looks like we have about 2 hours of flight time remaining. And it's been a great flight so far. It's been a great opportunity with Brian during the supervised operating experience. I'm glad you guys can come along and celebrate this, what we call a victory, with him completing his SOE or supervised operating experience today. How do you feel about things, Brian?
I feel good. You know, it's going. My journey kind of started, you know, SR-20 G6 up to a SR-22 G7. And then obviously into the Vision Jet, and all of that was in pretty short succession. So obviously you step into an aircraft that's much more powerful, turbine powered, fly higher, all those things. You've got a little bit of reservation, but it really all started with good preparation for the type rating, and then the folks at Cirrus in Knoxville just run a jam up training operation up there. They do a great job, great instructors, knowledgeable instructors, good curriculum, great training environment, great simulators. So all of that kind of, prepares you to step into the aircraft, and then, obviously you and I get out and kind of learn the real world in and out. We have definitely done that over the last couple of days. And so yeah, I'm feeling awesome. feeling good.
Number
and
13 Juliet Alpha, contact New York Center 128.57.
2857, 13 Juliet Alpha, good day.
Ready to keep the learning adventure going after today.
Yeah.
2432, 17 Charlie X-ray. Thank you, sir. Good night.
Victor 4631,
New York Center, Vision Jet 13 Juliet Alpha with you, 28.6, climbing to 300.
3 Juliet Alpha, New York. American 2723, New York 124.6.
Awesome. What was your biggest reservation about stepping into the type rating?
Knowing that it was going to be a lot going into it, and it's the same problems as most everybody has. You've got to balance life, and you've got to balance business, and still, dedicate the time to prepare yourself to be the best and safest pilot you can for the people that are going to step into the aircraft with you. And that was probably the biggest, I'm not going to say reservation, just thing that was on my mind. And obviously, you know the story behind the jet. This was probably 2 years earlier for me than what I had planned on due to some family circumstance, the way that it happened. So, I had a pretty short fuse from the time that it all came down to the time that I put boots on the ground in Knoxville. Was about 21 days to get all the material, learn as much as I could about the aircraft and the systems and just jet flying in general.
Sure.
And then you go to Knoxville and take on a plethora of knowledge for 9 somewhat long days, and so it was I knew it was going to be a heavy lift, but that seems to be when I do my best work is under pressure. So
awesome.
coming out the other side of it, it was great. Just an all in all great experience.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, you had contacted me before you went to the type rating. We had discussed doing the supervised operating experience together. We talked about the Vision Jet stuff and how I might be able to support you and all that other stuff down the road. And I could tell in that initial conversation you had already gotten heavy into the material and you were off to a great start. And, you know, the preparation that you were doing led you into a successful type rating and now a very successful supervised operating experience. And I am fully confident in you being able to operate this aircraft in single pilot capabilities. So hats off to you for really putting forth the effort. The type rating for the Vision Jet is not one thing that you just show up and hope everything comes together. You do have to prepare for it. And you did an excellent job doing that. I'm glad that you had a nice background in aviation and then in the Cirrus aircraft stuff. And then eventually, you know, of course, we're ready to absorb the material for the type rating, so that's fantastic. Did you like the video materials and all that Cirrus provided?
I did.
Yeah.
And I feel all the way. So I went through when I was going through private pilot, I did Cirrus's private pilot course.
Oh.
And then obviously their instrument course obviously wasn't out yet when I went through instrument, but all the G7 transition videos when I bought my 22T G7 and they do, again, just in true Cirrus fashion, they do a really good job with their videos.
Yep.
You know, very, very informative, very real world. So they're not just, they're not boring to sit there and watch. I feel like you actually can take some things away from some of the training points that they point out in their videos. So again, hats off to Cirrus Aircraft in Knoxville for putting together a great training program and specifically a great training program for the Vision Jet.
Yeah. What do you think of the Vision Center in Knoxville?
Great. Yeah. It's great. Great facility, great folks, great staff. I mean, the place is spotless. Plenty of room, plenty of classrooms, plenty of briefing rooms. Feed you lunch there every day, which is something you don't get in a lot of places. They do. They really. I can't say enough about the level of the operation that they run up there in Knoxville.
Yeah, I think it's really, really beneficial for Vision Jet pilots and owners and operators to have a close connection with the training being closely connected to the manufacturing process as well. So when there are issues or new developments or new techniques for the aircraft, that all gets integrated right into the training at Cirrus. You're not dealing with a third-party training company. It's all under one roof, so to speak. So I think that works out pretty well. And the results are that most people are successful in the type rating.
Delta 2996, New York.
Yeah, I would say, and obviously not in every case, but just from having gone through it, I can see where if you don't put the work in ahead of time, especially if you've never been through a type rating like I had, it was my first.
Right.
I could see where you would maybe find yourself a little bit behind at times.
Yep.
But anybody that's considering it or thinking about going, very manageable, very doable. You just got to put the time in. You got to put the time in, study the material, and if you show up to type rating day one, having at least been through the material one time and having a good grasp on your memory items, you won't find yourself behind at all during the process. And then I had a great group of guys, me and three other guys. A guy out of Florida, my guy out of McKinney, Texas, and another guy out of Wichita. And, we would wrap up class some days 3 or 3:30. We'd still be at the Vision Center 6 o'clock,
Yep.
And, we all kind of went into it with the mindset that we were going to learn as much as we could about the systems and everything on this aircraft. And that paid off well on checkride day. So.
Yeah, so what's your feeling on this? Say, for instance, Cirrus Aircraft sent you the training materials, right? The books and AFM, PIM, all the study materials on paper, right? But didn't provide you with the videos, right? What would day one of your ground training be like?
It would be a lot more intense.
Yeah.
You've got and I don't remember the AFM's 500 something pages. the videos, I think, do a really good job of directing where you need to spend your focus before you go to type training.
Right.
You know, obviously, you know, as time goes on, you read through the AFM, you read through the PIM, and you learn all the little nuances. But the videos really kind of, you know, give you a pointed focus to where to spend your time. And there were several times, you know, we would reference the video, you know, something we learned in ground school, or as you're studying throughout those 2 weeks, you know, you'll go back and watch the engine video, or you'll go back and watch the, you know, the ECS video, or you know, whatever it is. If there's a certain topic maybe that you're you know, not grasping as well as you feel like you should, you can kind of go back and watch that video again and get some good clarity.
Right.
So yeah, it would,
Alpha contact New York 132.87.
32.87. 13 Alpha. Good day.
it would definitely not be as smooth of a process, I don't think, if the videos weren't there.
Yeah, I think the videos add a whole new dimension to the training environment. New York Center, 13 Juliet Alpha, we're flight level 300, smooth ride.
13 Juliet Alpha, roger.
Yeah, I thought that was great as well. Can you describe your first week of training? You know, for example, was it 2 days of ground and then some sim, or how'd they lay it out for you?
So for us, it was, we obviously started on a Monday, you know, 8 o'clock, and Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday were primarily classroom days. You do some hot bench work. They've got the avionics hot benches there in the classroom. So especially, you know, coming from the G7, it was nice going in because I already had a basic understanding and knowledge of how the avionics worked. But they walk you through some pretty, you know, pretty basic exercises. You learn how to use the avionics, really learn how to use the autopilot, how to use the auto throttle, all that stuff. And then that kind of translates over into some sims. So starting on day 2, if I remember right, you'll start doing some sim sessions in the fixed simulators.
Okay, the sits.
The sits, you know, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And that's, you know, your whole group's together. You've got your same ground instructors. You know, you've got a couple of phase quizzes throughout those days. And then the end of day 4 completes your ground training. And then you're then paired with another instructor who is kind of your one-on-one instructor for the rest of the type. You do some more sim work with them on Friday. You get the weekend off. And initially going into it, my mindset was, man, I wish I could just keep pushing through, you know, get it all done and not carry over into next week. And then by the time that Friday afternoon comes, you're really looking forward to taking the weekend off. And the instructors will tell you, and I can vouch for it, I went, you know, only living about 2 hours away from Knoxville. I went home for the weekend, put the books down, put the study material down, just kind of let your brain cool off a little bit. And then when I got back into Knoxville Sunday night, I kind of picked up, you know, looked through everything as a refresher for Monday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are all sim days. You'll have, you know, somewhere between an hour and an hour and a half of ground review with your one-on-one instructor.
You know, Alpha contact Cleveland Center 119.72.
1972, 13 Juliet Alpha. Good day.
Good day, booster 55.
That's awesome.
370 Cleveland.
Cleveland Center, 13 Juliet Alpha, smooth ride at 300.
13 Juliet Alpha, Cleveland, mostly smooth.
And then, you know, you'll head into about an hour and a half of ground review. You'll head into 2 or 2.5 hours worth of sim session. You know, you're doing, you know, SIDS, arrivals, emergency procedures, you know, anything and everything that your instructor may want to throw at you as far as what can go wrong. And then Wednesday is oral check ride, practical check ride review day. And then Thursday was the final check. From start to finish for me, oral, pre-flight, and sim session turned out to be about a 6 hour check ride. So it is an ordeal, but all the TCE, the training center examiners they have up there are fantastic. All of them are obviously instructors there as well, and make the process I mean, as good as a check ride can be, I feel like. So
Awesome. So you took your check ride on a Thursday, right?
on a Thursday.
So what did Wednesday night feel like for you?
I mean, it was, you have to fight the urge of, oh, I'm not ready. What did I not study? And I'll tell the world Wednesday night about 6 o'clock.
2100.
Said I'm going to put the books down. If I don't know it by now, I'm not going to learn it.
Right.
And went out, ate a good dinner, tried to get to bed at a decent hour, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and woke up. I breezed through all my memory items one more time Thursday morning to just make sure that I felt good about that, and showed up to the training center. We dove in about 8 o'clock, got all the paperwork out of the way, started the check ride about 8:30, and came out positive on the other side. So
awesome, man. Yeah, for those that don't know, we refer to memory items. Those are, in most cases, associated with an emergency procedure, and they are the initial items that you memorize before you actually go to a checklist. So they're called memory items. You perform those by memory, and then you go to the appropriate checklist in the aircraft to finish the procedure for that particular emergency or condition. So that's what memory items are. In the case of my type rating, I went and got my type rating in 2020, and as luck would have it, I stayed at the Hilton, which was adjacent to the training center, and my room faced Cirrus aircraft in their facility. And at nighttime, they light up the simulator bays with different colors, lights, and of course you can see the simulator from the hotel. So I found myself being a little anxious, and waking up really early in the morning, making sure I'm prepared, what am I missing, just like you did. But of course, I look out the window and there that simulator was haunting me, But we became
reminding you what lied ahead.
The simulators and I have become pretty good friends over the last 5 years, so it's great. Some people have a concern about, is the full motion simulator very close to the way the plane performs, and I think in most instances the full motion simulator does do a very good job of simulating the actual aircraft, and so is that how you felt about it as well?
I would say I would give it, after spending around 25 hours with you in the jet, I'd give it 90-95%. As far as what the simulator feels like versus what the jet actually feels like. I think the worst part about the simulator, and I think everybody who's been in it can agree, is the taxi.
Yeah, taxi in the simulator is a little, it's not difficult, but your body realizes that you are sitting still and only the video around you is moving. So, that's sort of a brain twister. So sometimes if you get a long taxi, you might get a little queasy.
But other than that, the feel of the aircraft is pretty spot on.
32.12, 13 Jet Alpha, good day.
Clear direct to Dryer.
Direct to Dryer, VOR 647.
Exec jet 636, descend to maintain.
All right, we got, looks like an hour and 35 minutes remaining in the flight. Flight level 300. 477 nautical miles. We have a true airspeed right now of 317 and a ground speed of 299. Our indicated airspeed's about 296. It's been a great flight so far.
Cleveland Center, 13 Juliet Alpha, flight level 300, smooth ride.
13 Juliet Alpha, Cleveland, hello. All the rides here are pretty smooth, and you're cleared direct to Levi.
Direct Levi, thanks a lot. 13 Juliet Alpha.
Nice job, Brian.
Thank you.
Well, it's been a real pleasure flying with you for the previous 23 and a half hours or whatever it was, and we're wrapping up the SOE now. So
Blue Streak 5647.
I've had a lot of fun with you, Brian. I think you are an exceptional pilot. I know you're going to have a lot of fun flying this aircraft for either business or pleasure. Do you have any particular trips in mind, with the family or for business or anything?
I think the end of October we'll pop back down to Orlando, and then we'll find ourselves back down in the Keys in December, and go obviously back and forth to Savannah a lot. So I'm sure there'll be a trip there for us coming up soon. But that's all on the horizon for the rest of the year. Q4 is pretty busy for us business-wise, so we'll try to fit some travel in there as we can. So,
awesome.
And has been a blast flying with you. Very knowledgeable, very methodical, which is something that I can appreciate in aviation. You know, the old saying goes, it's not inherently dangerous, it's just not forgiving.
Yes.
So having your, especially in an aircraft like this, having your flows down and making sure you dot your I's and cross your T's is super important. And I feel like one of my big takeaways is, you know, you learn it in the simulator and then you kind of put those flows into real world use. So that's been good. You know, for anybody watching the video, Don's kind of taking it all the way from the jet that we're in was located out west, and he went out there, you know, did the acceptance inspection on it, put together a great report, and brought the jet back, and was sitting at the Vision Center in Knoxville Thursday when I walked out of the simulator for us to hop in the jet and take the first victory lap trip from Knoxville back to Georgia, and it's been a great experience ever since. Great communication, very organized. And,
42 for just a few minutes.
Thank you for that. It's made it in a process where there's already so much going on, just not having to worry about the administrative details of it has been really good. So
and we're going to have a handoff to.
Well, it was a real pleasure, and thank you so much for finding out about me.
Shortly, we need to take a couple minutes.
Certainly get me involved early on. Brian's been ahead of the curve the whole time. You know, he got a hold of me weeks before he even went for his type rating, weeks before he was getting an aircraft delivery. And you're just ahead of the game the whole time, and it made it a real pleasure to work with him. And so I really appreciate that aspect of it as well. You know, I enjoyed going out west to pick up the plane and doing the acceptance flight for you and all that stuff. And, you know, I'm always going to be a resource for you and as you continue advancing into your ownership experience. So it's been a real pleasure. Alrighty. So, yep, just knocking out another few minutes of flight. We got fuel over destination at 76 gallons. That's going to be pretty good. And smooth weather ahead.
This video is sponsored in part by SF50 Flight Support. Check out sf50flightsupport.com for more information. We make jet ownership better with comprehensive services for owners, pilots, and operators of SF50 Vision Jets.
Can't pick a better day to fly.
Beautiful.
Again, when Brian and I initially started talking, he already had some objectives for his SOE, and the one thing that SF50 Flight Support provides is a flexible SOE experience. We know the training procedures and things that we need to observe in the aircraft for an approved and acceptable SOE experience. But we also incorporate that into information about ownership. We also talk about best practices in the aircraft, and also how to basically take care of the aircraft as an owner. So we provide all those services. And but what I really liked about the initial conversation with Brian is he says, these are the things that I want to do in my SOE, and we tailor the SOE according to what we need to achieve and what a client like Brian wants to achieve. Name off some things that you wanted to do in the jet, you know, some experiences or what you wanted to encounter in the jet, and then maybe talk about how we did that.
Yeah, so, you know, when I went into it, you know, when I came to Don, obviously the you know, higher, faster, weather becomes, weather's always a concern, but weather becomes a little bit more of a concern. So, you know, wanted to go out and find some weather, and we did that. Headed down to the Keys yesterday out of Palm Beach, and then coming back, we deviated around several big cells in South Florida yesterday. It was a very active day storm-wise down there, so that was fun. You know, got in and out of a bunch of different airports, a bunch of different airspaces. Just kind of wanted to get some flow of that, especially if you're stepping up from the piston world and haven't been flying in the higher levels. Obviously, we've got my wife and I have a 2-year-old, so him tolerating oxygen is not really a thing. So we've been in the 8 to 10,000 range typically on our trips. So not very common to get arrivals and things of that nature at those altitudes. So I wanted to come up and work as many of those as we can, and I think we've done that.
8.020
You know, I wanted to go out and get into some icing, and of course you can't make the weather cooperate with you. We didn't get to check that box, but we will do that soon. And then just, you know, I wanted to learn as much about ownership, you know, as I could. The things that nothing other than just experience and having flown and owned, you know, one of these amazing aircraft is going to teach you. And I've learned a lot about that over the last week or so.
Awesome.
So I feel like, you know, all in all, we checked pretty much all of the boxes. Everything that was in our control.
Yep.
We checked those boxes.
Right.
Out, you know, flying all up and down the eastern seaboard, if you will, over the last few days. So.
Right. Yeah, and early on we talked about, you know, arrival and departure procedures on the phone, as well as you wanted to get a little bit more indoctrination to actual interpretation of radar and use of radar as well. We also wanted to try to engage in some icing conditions. We only got a little bit of ice. It wasn't really much of a factor on that. And of course we found some weather. But the biggest thing I'd like to say about any of that is you identified those areas ahead of time. You know what I mean? Like you identified these are areas I really want to work on or I want to see. With that in mind, what did you think about the radar on either the auto or the manual capabilities?
Invaluable resource. Don and I were actually talking this morning while we were flying around yesterday. There were some areas that just solely based on NEXRAD looked pretty ugly. And then you looked at the onboard weather radar, and it was clear as it could be. Out in front of us where NEXRAD was showing it. So it was, you know, in that situation, it was significantly below, you know, where we were flying. Whereas if you would have just been navigating off of NEXRAD only, you probably would have been doing a bunch of unnecessary deviations.
Right.
So it's great. That's you know, probably one of my favorite upgrades on the jet is having the ability to have that onboard weather radar and really get a good, you know, 100-mile snapshot out in front of you,
right,
about what's there. And again, for anybody that's thinking about going to the training or the type rating or stepping up into one of these, you know, they'll cover radar and all the ins and outs of it in the type rating, but to get a true appreciation of it, you've got to get up in the aircraft and just see it work.
Right.
And I was glad that we got to do that yesterday.
Yeah, it was great.
Morning, Cleveland Center, Premier 323.
Having that radar resource was really, really neat. We worked in auto mode. We put it in manual. We kind of interpolated both of those modes and how they look a little different, but very similar. And of course, you know, the main point of this radar, of course, is tactical weather. And of course, you know, a couple times yesterday we were in a wall of clouds, and it sure would be nice to see anything embedded in there. And the radar at least helps pick up, you know, some precipitation that might be in those cells that you can't see because you're actually in the midst of them. So, yeah, I like that radar a lot. And then cross-interpolate it with NEXRAD.
Yeah, having them up side by side over on your MFD is fantastic.
That's great. It'll be good to be back home, huh? You've been away a lot. So.
It will be. It's been a very busy last 3 weeks, but been worth it.
Yeah,
it's been worth it. So you know, and you always kind of struggle with the, you know, it's kind of like when I went from private to instrument, I didn't take very much time off. You know, when you get that momentum going and you're kind of in that mode, you know, if you go and wait 2, 3, 4 weeks to start your SOE. You're going to spend, in my opinion, the first couple days of it just trying to get back comfortable for all the things that you learned in type rating and then didn't actually go out and do. So again, that would be my, you know, 2 cents for what it's worth. Anybody who's thinking about doing it, get your type rating done and dive right into SOE if your circumstances permit you being able to do so for sure.
Yeah, I concur.
And we had a lot of same mentality guys. You know, obviously, and another great thing about type rating is you'll make friends in aviation, you know, forever. The guys and gals you may go through type rating with, and one of the guys in my class, got a text message from him this morning. He wrapped his SOE up yesterday, was actually on his first maiden voyage solo trip with his family today. So Tracy, if you happen to watch this video, congratulations on that.
Awesome.
And another guy, again, text this morning, he was getting ready to start his SOE. So again, right within a week of getting his type rating, he's out in the jet, flying around. And believe the last guy that I went through type rating with is getting ready to start his SOE as well. So again, just a great group of very motivated, very like-minded guys, and I have no doubt that we'll be friends in the aviation world for forever. So
yeah, that's great. Yeah, and I've seen it both ways. Where the first thing is, I love the victory lap. You know, I love bringing an aircraft into Knoxville for check ride day and get the pilot right in the seat, you know, right after the type rating if we can possibly do it. That's kind of the best case scenario. I've also had them on the other side of the situation where we didn't start the SOE till, you know, a month and a half, 2 months after the type rating, and I can tell there's a little bit of rust that gets created between the type rating and a late start SOE. So I do believe, you know, the quicker you can get going in the SOE, the quicker you're going to advance to the next stepping stone, if you will, in terms of your proficiency and familiarity in the aircraft. So, like Brian said, hop right in if you can. So,
it's a deteriorating skill just in general for sure. If you don't use it, you get rusty. And you know, trust me, by the end of that 9 days in type rating, you're ready to go. You're ready to go see everything that you've learned, you know, live and in color. So it's been great experience.
Let me ask you about this. So in the case of the type rating and type training, you go from one emergency to the next in the aircraft, right?
Yep.
For essentially 9 days. You either talk about emergencies or you're actually performing emergency procedures, right? So when you hop in the seat for the first time, you do that first takeoff, what do you think? You know, what comes to mind? You have this precept, right, that
you're waiting on something to happen.
Something's going to happen, right? And then you find out the jet is actually pretty good and darn reliable. So I think that's the biggest surprising factor for me when I started flying the Vision Jet, of course, was I was like, you mean we're not on fire? We didn't get a rapid depressurization, you know?
Generator didn't fail, landing gear's not stuck up.
Yep. Throttle's not stuck in takeoff, you know? Yeah, you don't lose all your displays, you know? So,
but I do think, you know, coming from it, Cirrus has been very, I think, methodical with the way that they've designed that training, and having you always have it in your mind.
Yeah,
you know?
for sure.
I mean, I know anybody in aviation, you can't deny the fact there's risk involved in every flight.
Right.
It's like we had a little conversation this morning. It's about being prepared for it and mitigating it the best you can.
Alpha contact Cleveland Center 125.42.
25.42. 13 Alpha, good day. 0.
Sun maintain 240, Brickyard 5803.
Good morning, Cleveland Center 13 Juliet Alpha, flight level 300.
13 Juliet Alpha, Cleveland Center.
And, you know, those memory items are really designed to keep you from losing those first few critical minutes of any type of emergency, you know, that you know, hey, if I get an engine fire warning right now, you know, I've got the first 7 things that I'm going to do, and it's going to take me about 15 or 20 seconds to do those because I've practiced them and I've rehearsed them and I know what they are. And that's pretty much going to tell me, you know, is it a fire? Is it a bleed leak? It's going to let me figure out where my closest airport is, get pointed in that direction, you know, get my oxygen mask on. And then we're going to go to the checklist and we're going to do all the other things. And as type rating teaches you, especially when you're cruising along at you know, flight level 300, you know, you get to the completion of the checklist. And I mean, I've got time. I've got plenty of time. I've run the checklist. I'm done. I'm headed to where I want to go. Now I just got to get there. and so they really do a very good job of teaching you that, you know, while yes, it's an emergency, you take a breath, work the problem, and do what you've been trained to do, and your outcome's going to be positive.
Yep, for sure. And so, you know, during the course of the year, from your type rating into when you need to do your recurrent, you know, I usually keep a sheet in the plane of the memory items, and cruise when there's not a lot to do. I keep an eye on those things and keep them fresh in mind, because, again, memory items are perishable skills as well. So you may retain it, you may retain part of it, but looking at it keeps it fresh, and those are the initial things you need to do to start the process of dealing with an emergency procedure. So good stuff.
And again, that just, you know, brings up another point that you know, anybody watching the video that's thinking about going or is going to go to type rating. Our class, and you know, specific shout out to Eric, put together a very, very, very robust Quizlet that not only the Quizlet covers everything plus some, because again, that was our mentality. We wanted to know everything there was to know without getting, you know, into the engineering side of it.
Sure.
About the aircraft. So it's I want to say last time about 130 item Quizlet there for anybody who's going. It's out there. Feel free to use it. We put a lot of time and a lot of love into it, and it helped all of us tremendously in our studies. So
awesome.
Hopefully somebody will get some use out of that.
I'll get a link from Brian or something and see if I can.
Yeah, we'll post it into the description of the video when Don gets it put up.
Awesome. There's a little bit of an app or a tool that is available. It's a free app called Vision Jet SF50 Emergency Procedures. It's currently version 1.9.1. And what it does is allow you to simulate task messages that would come up in flight, and you can follow the checklist using your iPad in flight. It's pretty neat, and again, something else to do in flight or at home. It's just a way to keep the emergency procedures and the memory items in particular fresh in your mind, and make you react faster, and reacting faster and being less stressed about memorizing those items, of course, will ultimately lead to a better result. So in any case, again, that's the Vision Jet SF50 Emergency Procedures app. Available on iOS. It might be available through the Google Store as well. I'm not exactly sure, but in any case, if you get a chance, you can check that out as well. So, all right, so 382 nautical miles remaining at 1 hour and 16 minutes. Again, we're cruising along at flight level 300, true airspeed 316, ground speed 301, indicated airspeed about 195. Appreciate you guys coming along in the video. I'll shut the cameras off for now, and we'll pick things up as we get closer to Elliott Field. Really appreciate you guys coming along, and thank you so much, Brian, for telling your story, man.
Absolutely, Don, absolutely, and happy to do it, and hopefully some folks watching this video follow in the same footsteps. And it really is the one of the greatest things in the world to be up here cruising along at 30,000 feet, seeing the world this way. So anybody who's going, good luck, and obviously if I can be of assistance in any way, Don can be of assistance in any way, reach out.
Yeah, love that, man. So thanks again, and we'll pick things up when we get closer to the descent phase. Thanks. Appreciate you coming along. All right, everybody, welcome back. 52 minutes remaining in the flight, still at flight level 300, 271 nautical miles remaining in this flight. This is Brian's last flight of his SOE requirements. So we're cruising along here at 318 knots of true airspeed, 312 knots of ground speed, 196 knots of indicated airspeed. I want to be the first one to congratulate you, Brian.
Thank you, my friend.
You just completed the 25-hour minimum for the supervised operating experience. How do you feel?
Feels good. It feels good to be done. And like I said, you know, earlier, the learning has only begun.
That's right.
But it feels good to land, and going to get that restriction removed, and we'll be ready to go out and conquer in the Vision Jet.
Awesome, man. Yep.
3357, Country 1981.
Do you see the value in the SOE?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. They're still, again, you know, as good of a job as Cirrus does, there's still the real world aspect of it,
Right.
you know, to get out here and learn. And,
That's right.
you know, just nothing other than just experience can teach you.
Right.
And SOE, we've done a very good job, you know, seeing some of that stuff, and obviously still plenty more to follow, but
Yep.
feel much more comfortable, you know, going single pilot than I ever would have if they just, all right, you got your type rating, go take off and fly.
Right.
So yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. So again, we looked at the flight and Hobbs meter. That's how we determined that Brian met his 25-hour minimum of SOE requirements. So what's going to happen after this flight? Of course, we still have 50 minutes remaining in the flight. And after this flight, I have connected Brian with a designated pilot examiner who will be completing the administrative action to remove Brian's pilot and command limitation that comes with the SF50 type rating. So after that procedure, Brian will get a temporary airman certificate saying that he is eligible to fly single pilot and have PIC privileges in the Vision Jet. So he'll be able to go out there and fly the Vision Jet solo or bring friends along or whatever he wants to do after that point. So he'll be in good shape. But when we do these as supervised operating experiences, we try to do a comprehensive process where we work with you through the SOE. We tailor the SOE for your particular needs and desires, as well as meeting the training requirements, of course, or at least the observation requirements that we want to see as a mentor pilot in the plane. And then we want to also provide you a solution to get your limitation removed from your certificate. So we do that, and it's a comprehensive process, and try to make it easy. So, I think it's been just that so far. So happy that we can help Brian do this, and it's always a pleasure. So let's talk a little bit about Elliott Field and why your plane is going to be based there.
So Elliott Field, for any of those that are familiar with Bill Elliott, Chase Elliott, in the NASCAR world, this is their private airport located in Dawsonville, Georgia, which is northeast of the Atlanta area. Kind of between Gainesville and Cherokee County, Canton, Georgia. You know, it's through some mutual aviation connections was the only place that I could find hangar space. So I've had my 22T there since I got it, and obviously the Vision Jet will be there. And it in my opinion has taught me to be a little bit more disciplined, you know, pilot on landing. It's a 5,600 foot long runway, but it's only 40 feet wide. Not the smoothest runway, just in true private airstrip fashion, but still a very, very nice little airport. But you gotta your center line discipline, and as you guys will see in the video, there are no markings on the runway, so we jokingly say your center crack discipline has got to be very, very good when you go in there to land. You don't have a lot of room left or right on a 40-foot wide runway, and going through flight training and your private pilot and most of you guys that have been through it know you're landing on 75 or 100 foot long runways, and it instantly becomes a little bit more intimidating when you go from being used to 75 or 100 feet down to 40. So anybody out there in the world that's wondering if you can land the Vision Jet on a 40-foot wide runway, you absolutely can. And you're going to get to see at least my best attempt at that here in just a little bit. So.
Yeah, this will be your first landing in the Elliott Field in the Vision Jet, so I'm confident you'll be able to nail it. Your landings have all been good through the SOE, so this should go good as well, I'm sure. So for those of you that don't know, in the case of the Vision Jet, the wingspan of the Vision Jet's just over 38 feet. So again, this runway is 40 feet wide. So just slightly wider than the wingspan of the Vision Jet. So centerline discipline is critically important for this one. And in this case today, Brian, what do we know about the weather there today?
So we know about the weather at Elliott Field. We've got runways 14 and 32. And also a little bit of a keeps you kind of looking ahead at the weather. Being a private airfield, there is no AWOS. So you've got to use the weather at Gainesville and the weather at Cherokee County. And, always seems to favor Cherokee County just the way that the terrain lies. So our last glance, we were looking, winds at Cherokee County right now are 100, 10 knots, gusting to 16. So that'll give us a little 40-degree crosswind off the right-hand side as we come in to land on runway 14. So we'll have to compensate for that. It'll make it a little bit, a little bit more of a challenging landing going into there, but I'm confident that we can pull it off.
Yeah, great. So again, we have a cross-wind situation, and then we have a gust factor as well, and a narrow runway. So Brian's got it. He knows what he needs to do. Bring it down to the runway surface on speed, on center line, and make sure we're pointing straight down the runway when we touch down. Brian's been doing that all along, so I am confident he will do that today as well, and provide you guys with a nice video of landing on a very narrow runway. So, coincidentally, you've landed on a narrow runway in the past. Why don't you post in the comments how wide that runway was and tell us about it. I'd appreciate that a lot. 40 feet is kind of narrow for me. I think that's probably the narrowest runway I've ever landed on. And but it's doable, and just got to make sure that circumstances are right, that you're configured for a proper landing and land on speed and manage that center line discipline, and it'll work out pretty good.
Flight level 330.
Awesome.
And worst case scenario, again, we've got Gainesville, Georgia's got a very nice airport, 50, 52 or 5,300 foot long runway, ILS and everything in there. So that's always kind of the contingency. Gainesville or Cherokee County both have good instrument approaches, good airports, good runways. So always nice to have those kind of right in your backyard. If something's not to the liking or whatever, we'll just go land at one of those. And
awesome.
Gainesville's got some good crosswind runways over there. They've got 523 and 1129. So always a pretty safe bet to be able to get in over there. If the weather just won't cooperate with you, or it's outside your personal minimums.
Awesome. As in true fashion, Brian has planned ahead, which is an awesome thing to do as an aviator.
And while we're talking about airports too, I'll give a nice little shout out to the folks up in Blairsville, Georgia, Delta Zulu Juliet. That is the closest airport to where I live, but limited on hangar space up there. So unfortunately, I haven't been able to secure a hangar up there yet. But Dan, the airport manager, and Kevin, the assistant airport manager up there, great guys. They'll take really good care of you if you're ever in the North Georgia area. That is the best airport, in my opinion, to pop in, visit, get fuel, all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
shout out to those guys up there, and if y'all are ever in the Blairsville area, feel free to reach out, and if I can be of any help.
13 Juliet Alpha, make hands to traffic.
Well, that's awesome, and I concur with your opinion.
4325, contact Indy Center 135.12.
Having flown a couple landings with you, and actually landed there once myself in this Vision Jet, so that's pretty cool. It's beautiful over there, isn't it?
Yeah,
Jeez.
it is.
It's mountainous, very it's just very majestic in that part of Georgia for sure. All right, so previously you owned the SR-22 and you had some pretty good success with that one, and you were telling me about a maintenance facility that's used down near you?
Yeah. So that's a good time too. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to Drew and Kyle and the whole team over at Roman Air in Winder, Georgia, Whiskey Delta Romeo Airport over there. Fantastic Cirrus Service Center. Nothing but great things to say. When you're dealing with Drew and Kyle, they treat you like they honestly treat you like you're their only client. Informative, very detail oriented, very thorough when it comes to their maintenance procedures. Obviously the 22T being the first aircraft that I ever owned, the very first time when I took it there to get the 25-hour service done on it. Drew gave me a whole facility tour. Kind of gave me the ownership 101 from a maintenance perspective, and took me out, showed me all their checks and balances and safety procedures, and from an owner and pilot perspective, the folks that are going to be working on your aircraft, when the leader of that organization takes the time to kind of show you all those things that are in place, it really kind of puts your mind at ease a little bit about the folks that are literally working on things that could be the difference in having a smooth flight and not having a smooth flight. So big shout out to those guys. Very progressive, forward-thinking bunch. So hopefully at some point they will obtain their SF50 certification and be able to work on this beautiful Vision Jet that we're flying in here today.
That'd be great.
Anybody in need of Cirrus 2022, 22T service can't give those guys a big enough pat on the back over there at Roman Air in Winder.
Isn't Drew a pilot as well?
He is, and I didn't know that till the second or third visit over there. But very, very high time pilot, flown a bunch of different aircraft, and has helped me out a couple of times, repositioning aircraft after maintenance and all that. Obviously never expect that from those guys over there, but the couple situations that we were in, it just worked out, and I was more than happy to step up and do it, just to make, really for no other reason, to make my life easier. And from one business owner to another, those are the kind of folks that I personally like to do business with. And they've again taken care of me. I haven't had many issues, but the few issues that have popped up, they've been 24 hours or less. They're on top of it. So
that's great. Likewise, I've had great success up in Owensboro, Kentucky, with my SR-22 previously, and then my two Vision Jets, bringing them to Mid-America Jet or Mid-America Aircraft in Owensboro, Kentucky. They're a well-established Vision Jet service center, pretty much in the middle of the country. So, like to use those guys, can trust and rely upon them, and they are a good organization as well. And that's really what you need, right, as an owner-operator, is a maintenance facility that you can trust. As soon as that trust is broken, it creates a lot of anxiety about the next time you have to hop in the plane after service. So hats off to those maintenance facilities out there. They're doing a great job with customers and supporting the fleet. So that's good stuff.
And I feel like we'd be remiss if we didn't. We're obviously, for those that watch this video later on down the road, we're up here in the air during the middle of the government shutdown, and I can say without hesitation, every single air traffic controller that we've had interaction with on our 25 hours of flying around up here has been no different. Great ladies and gentlemen that are working up there, and for any of you air traffic control folks that happen to watch this video, thank you for what you do on a daily basis, and thank you for still showing up while all this is going on. The folks of us up here that are literally relying on you appreciate it.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Oh, that's a fantastic point. I'm glad you thought of that. Yeah, because since the inception or my pickup of this flight out west, and then all through your SO, I bet we, in combination, have talked to 60 different controllers probably.
I would say probably so.
Yeah. So a lot of them showed up to work, and we appreciate it. And I got to admit too, ATC services have been great all throughout your SOE. You know,
And they have
everybody's done a great job. So.
They have been, and we've been in countless different sectors, countless different controllers again, all the way from Don's journey started bringing the flight, the plane out in Wyoming, and now you went through Wichita over to Knoxville, and we've been on with, Georgia, Florida, all the way up to New York and back down. So we've flown through some airspace, and those guys and girls are really the heart of what keeps it all working and keep all of us safe up here every day. So
that's right.
We appreciate it.
And those of us that haven't encountered ATC 0 out there where there's no air traffic control, it can be a little scary, you know. It is the Wild West when those folks aren't working the system. So appreciate them being there, and good stuff. What just came to mind?
Juliet Alpha, contact Atlanta Center 120.72.
20.72, 13 Juliet Alpha, good day. Atlanta Center 13 Juliet Alpha, flight level 300.
November 13 Juliet Alpha, Atlanta Center, Ryder, good morning.
Yeah, what comes to mind was, let's see, where'd you take the plane on your first flight? Other than, I should say, your second flight.
Second flight, we all went up from Blairsville up to White Plains, New York, and back. Took my lovely wife up there for a French trip for the weekend, and then Don and I flew back up on Sunday back into White Plains, picked her up, and brought her back home. So that was two really good
52, contact
flights
Atlanta Center,
to start the SOE with. And again, different airspaces, and for anybody that's never flown into the New York airspace, very busy, very fast-paced, and got some good experience going in and out of there. As did we on this last trip. We ended our day yesterday in Syracuse, New York, and got up this morning to a brisk 32 degrees and some frost on the plane, so we had to take care of that, and took back off out of Syracuse, headed back to Dawsonville, and again, another great in and out of the New York airspace there last night.
Yeah, it was great. You know, we briefed and talked about going into White Plains. We also talked about LaGuardia and JFK, as well as other, maybe even Teterboro, Morristown, even Republic up there in the Northeast. We ended up selecting White Plains for a few different reasons, but what did you do to kind of prepare yourself for that environment?
It all started with review. You know, you're going to look at the airspace, you're going to look at the airport, you're going to look at the FBO, which again, shout out to Millionaire in White Plains. Awesome group of folks up there. They took great care of us. Quick fuel, great facility. You know, and really has been. I think we visited a couple other Millionaires on our trip, and they were both fantastic to work with, and very, very accommodating. But yeah, it just, again, an airport you've never been into. You're looking at runways, you're looking at weather several days ahead of time, you're looking at taxi diagrams and the FBO, and FBO hours and services available, and just all those kind of things, so you don't get surprised.
Right.
We don't ever want to be surprised. As far as that goes. So.
You know, a couple things you can guarantee is you'll get an arrival procedure there, which you prepared for the arrival procedure. And, you know, on the initial flight up there, we filed for one arrival procedure. We got taken off of that, put on a second arrival procedure. Got taken off of that one and put on a third arrival procedure, right? So you were able to hand jam all that stuff in and get it done nice and efficiently. So one thing we can plan on is what we file, but you can also think about you're likely going to have something happen that's quite unexpected. Routing changes, arrival changes, things of that sort. But, you know, if you are familiar with the procedures and the workflows, you made short work of it. It was easy for you, right?
Yeah, and the avionics, I mean, this Garmin avionics setup is, once you kind of learn where everything is, it makes it, super intuitive to do. So yeah, it is. It's a great, once you, and anybody who is thinking about jumping in, and look, whether it's a G7 Plus, or, a Vision Jet that's got the very similar avionics setup, you know, if you really spend time, whether it's in your transition training or if it's in your embark training, if you buy a new one or a used one, excuse me, or if it's your type rating training, if I could probably give one singular piece of advice outside of being prepared for somebody who is not coming from this avionics setup like I was, I would spend as much time getting familiar with the avionics as you can, because that's going to make the rest of your training experience and the rest of your flying experience just that much easier. You know, if ATC throws you a curveball and you can say, okay, yep, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
So that's
Gonna be at 4693.
but yeah, once you know the setup, it's great.
Brickyard 4693, Atlanta Center.
Awesome.
Right.
So yesterday afternoon, we kind of had a neat situation. We were going into Panama City, or Northwestern Florida Beaches Airport, ECP, and we had two FBO choices. We could have went to Shelter Air or Southern Sky, and I've had really good experience at Southern Sky, so I said, let's give that a shot, and we went there. And what do you think of that place?
Place is beautiful. And it's funny that you brought that up as we were talking about Millionaire. I was not going to let this video end without giving a shout out to those guys over there, Scott and all the ladies at the front desk. Huge help, super nice facility, probably one of the nicest pilots lounge and well-stocked pilots lounge that I've seen, you know, in my time flying. And, you know, for those of you that want to give Scott down there a test.
Juliet Alpha, descend and maintain flight level 240.
We'll descend and maintain flight level 240, 13 Juliet Alpha.
He told us yesterday, if you pull onto the ramp at Southern Sky and you tell any of his guys you want a quick turn, he's assuring 14 minutes from the time you leave the aircraft to the time they've got you fueled up and ready to go. And I can tell you this from our short time there yesterday, they were waiting on us. We weren't waiting on them.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, whether you're there to stay for a little while or whether you just need to pop into ECP, pick up some very, very, very competitively priced fuel and get back in the air, go see Scott and those guys over at Southern Sky Aviation there in Panama City. They'll take great care of you.
It's practically brand new facility too as well, so really a great experience, and you nailed it on the head. If you got the right people, the right culture, and the right facilities, it all comes together.
I'd like to see them pop up some more places because they're running a great operation down there.
Yeah, I agree. Everybody was very personable too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like you were talking about Roman Air, I felt like we were the only people there at Southern Sky too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We weren't, but you know, just the same. Though, you know, I did hear a Piper M600 pilot come in and
4936,
try to compare the M600 to the Vision Jet, right? And I'm not saying anything bad about the M600. If it's the right plane for you, that's fantastic. Unfortunately, it's not the right plane for me because I have a hard time getting up front in that thing, but and also hit my head on the headliner a lot. But in any case, what do you think about? Can you compare the M600 in your experience to the Vision Jet?
I would say no, and I told somebody the other day that having actually, you know, the simulator is one thing, you get a good idea of the layout, but another thing SOE shows you once you're actually in the flight deck of this thing, you would be hard-pressed to find another aircraft that has the comfort level that the Vision Jet does. And we probably spent, what do you think, collectively 10 hours up here yesterday?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And never once, you know, did I feel cramped, uncomfortable, plenty of room to stretch your legs out for you taller folks.
Yeah.
It just, I mean, a lot of great thoughtful design into, and the visibility in this thing is amazing.
Yeah.
You know, where I know some of the other aircrafts, it seems like you've got a very, very small window or sight picture, and you're on top of whoever's in the seat next to you.
Yeah.
And that's not the case at all. And then you get back into you get back into the passenger cabin, you know, great seats, super comfortable, you know, lots of room again for your passengers back there too. So
yeah, everybody's facing forward, so it's a pretty good experience. Somebody's going to argue that, you know, the M600 has seating for up to 6 adults. The Vision Jet can only seat really 5 adults. That's one thing. And the M600 does have pretty impressive endurance, but again, that's because the cabin's so narrow that that provides some better efficiency, I guess. But I've actually toured the Piper facility in Vero Beach, and I thought it was great. You know, I thought they had a great company culture there, and obviously they're making great aircrafts. But in terms of price point, you know, I think the Vision Jets are still upper 3 millions. 3.6, 3.7, whatever it is in 2025, and you'd be hard pressed to get a M600 for that price. So even used. So I think, you know, Cirrus wins as far as that goes. And you know, at the end of the day, if you lost your engine, what would you want?
Flight Jet 316, contact Atlanta.
This parachute, right?
7.85.
So yeah.
You'd want the parachute, and you know, we can't let the video go by without talking about safe return either.
Yep.
Great feature that's integrated into this aircraft too. It really just gives you one extra peace of mind that, you know, if I'm flying with my family and you know, God forbid something were to happen to me,
Juliet Alpha, contact Atlanta Center 127.85. Good day.
They're going to get back on the ground.
85, 13 Juliet Alpha. Good day.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And, you know, as being a Vision Jet pro pilot, but also I'm an owner of an aircraft, I bring my family and friends and medical patients and human trafficking survivors in the Vision Jet. I was always really curious what would happen if I was to become incapacitated. And, you know, of course, having the safe return feature is an amazing thing, which will allow this aircraft to find a runway somewhere and land safely.
8,030.
Welcome back, everybody. Just about 8 minutes of the flight remaining. We're descending down to 6,400, about 42 miles to the north of Elliott Field. We have a nice plan to get in there, and appreciate you guys coming along in the videos. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Really appreciate that a lot. Yeah, man, I definitely activated that.
Yeah. I love the vertical situation display when you're kind of descending through terrain.
It is a little reassuring, isn't it?
It is.
November 4 Foxtrot Alpha, contact when approach 132.47. November 984 Foxtrot Alpha, contact when approach 132.47.
Contact approach at 132.47.
Got quite a few people flying around the area today.
Yeah, there is.
But I know why, because it's a nice day to fly.
What else would you rather be doing on a Friday in October?
True. Of course, it wouldn't be bad patronizing one of your restaurants. That seems good.
Atlantic morning.
Good idea.
Good idea, especially Blue Ridge, Georgia in October. For anybody that's not familiar, it's a very popular, well really, it's a very popular year-round destination town in Georgia, but especially during the fall.
All right. I think that's the airport up there somewhere.
Thank you. In November 13 Juliet Alpha, you're still here?
Yes, sir. We're still with you.
Thanks.
And 13 Juliet Alpha, we have the field sign. We'll go ahead and cancel IFR.
Roger. November 13 Juliet Alpha, IFR cancellation received. Squawk VFR for change of brief.
All right. Well, Squawk VFR, change advisory. Have a great day. 13 Juliet Alpha.
Welcome to the most wonderful flight
Here to get us set up for where we want to be.
Landing traffic, Cirrus 816 Mike Charlie, 2 mile final, runway 5, full stop.
And then it says for final, sometimes it gives you a hint on altitude, 2539.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead. We'll go ahead and start down here.
Elliott traffic, have a Vision Jet center out of 3,600, currently on a 4 mile left base for runway 14. We'll be full stop, Elliott traffic.
All right, let's square it up here. We're going to level off. Go ahead and slow us down here just a little bit more. Perfect.
Elliott traffic, you now have Vision Jet on final for runway 5, about 5 out, Elliott traffic.
Mark Camel Field, 879 to myself, 6 out, 6 miles south, inbound straight in, 024 stop. Mark Camel.
Go ahead and go first notch of flaps. Or below 210, we'll go ahead and put the gear down. All right, 3 green down and lock, flaps 50 checks.
This is one of those that I wanted to do in thermal, so we'll just trust the flight path marker and airspeed.
All right, get that last notch of flaps in.
Mark Camel Field, 9 to myself, 4 out to the south, inbound straight in, 02, full stop, Mark.
Elliott traffic, you have Vision Jet short final, 1-4,
500.
Elliott traffic.
All right, 500, 3 green down and lock, flaps 100, landing lights are on, brake pressure's good.
All right, bleed speed.
Yeah. All right. Got a little gust there as we came over the trees, but we got it straightened out. And welcome to Elliott Field.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys coming along in the video today. I hope you enjoyed it. We had a nice conversation with Brian today as he's wrapped up his supervised operating experience for the SF50 Vision Jet. Just landed at his home airport here in Dawsonville, Georgia. So until next time, safe flying. We'll see you on the next video.
432 to hangar 2, Elliott.
Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Click on the notification bell so you'll be the first to be notified when new video content is posted. And I can't thank you enough for your questions, comments, and feedback. Until next time, safe flying, and we'll see you on the next flight.